this meeting to order. Please silence your electronic devices and stand for the invocation given by Councilmember Veal.
You, Council President, please follow me in our Lord's Prayer, then followed by the pledge. Our
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Now the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any public comments?
No.
Communications?
Connect Care is requested to hold an overdose awareness day on Tuesday, August 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. in the St. Anthony's campus at 114 Liberty Street for an event with vendors, food, and family-friendly activities.
The reason why we have the application is for shutdown of Liberty Street and Central Avenue.
So that's not going to cost us any money? We're not going to have any police officers there or anything, special traffic details or anything?
As far as I know, it's been reviewed by DPW and police, and what they do is leave the barricades for the event organizers to put up right before the event occurs. So there was no overtime costs associated with it.
Any questions on that?
Okay, and
Next
the other
one.
one is an application was submitted for Neighbors on Lincoln Ave Street Party on Saturday, September 6th from 3 to 7 p.m. on Lincoln Ave with games, music, and food.
Any questions or concerns on that? Okay.
That's it.
The next City Council meeting will be held Monday, September 8th, 2025, 7 p.m. at the City Hall Council Boardroom, second floor, City Center. Codes update. I asked you to put this on here because I've been getting complaints about lawns and various other things from the community, and I think I passed them on to code and such, and I know they're working on them. So is there anything you could kind of add to that? I know they're out there. I mean, maybe it takes a little while with the court system to get compliance with these issues. It's not like going to be a 24-hour thing. It takes a while for them to get notified and so on, and am I correct in all that?
That's correct. We have to date cited 522 violations through the code. 5% or 20 cases have become court cases. So we have a 95% compliance rate when we do cite a code violation. Most people, most residents or businesses take care of the issue right away. The other 5% end up in the court system going through codes court. Also, I said, every time we ask about codes, we talk about parking. To date, we have 1,240 parking violations issued in the city to date, which is another residential neighborhood issue. But yeah, if anyone has properties that they'd like checked by codes, they're more than happy to do so. They can only check what they can see from the street unless you invite them into your backyard or into your house to see what you might see in someone's back lawn. But overall, I think the city has done a really good job citing grass, weeds, and debris over the summer.
And what about repeat offenders? Like in one particular case on my street, it seems like they go to the limit, then they get a notice, then they cut it, and then it's dropped. So what do we do for people like pushing the limits like that, where basically we have to send a letter several times a summer for them to cut their lawn? Because that's one of the complaints that I received, was that it seems like they've complained on this before, then they comply, and then a month later it's all over again and they comply, and then, so is there anything for like repeat offenders where instead of just getting the letter, they just pursue it farther because it's you see a pattern of conduct there or anything like that?
I'd have to look at the code section. Go ahead.
Council President, that would certainly go to the history of violations if it went to court, but there's not necessarily a process to short circuit the statutory requirements that there be outstanding violations that we bring forward to write the code case. So if they're resolved prior to the code case being implemented, unfortunately there's nothing we can do, even though it's kind of a repeat thing in some
And
instances.
it could take several weeks before all this process plays out. In the meantime, the grass is growing, the garbage is,
Right. Well, and a lot of that is just diligence on behalf of the codes office, which they're obviously very busy with a lot of different
Right.
responsibilities, but, repeat offenders are known to them, so they can keep an eye out for those issues.
good.
We also mow the grass, so we do not allow grass to grow for weeks or months. We'll go out, we'll have a contract to mow it, we bill it back. If it's not paid, it's levied onto the taxes and then becomes part of a potential foreclosure in the future, like a municipal foreclosure, so.
So what you're saying, although it seems bad in some cases, the code is working on it, and you would encourage people to continue to call code and report these violations so that code is aware of it, and they may already be, but we don't know that.
Right.
So just to make sure, call in, file the complaint, and code will go and definitely follow it up and try to make a resolution out of it as quickly as they can.
And they usually follow up same day,
Okay, great.
Monday through Friday.
Bob, do you have something?
A couple of the complaints I've received, and one is that there's a lot of unlicensed vehicles popping up. Some have, what once was a cover over them, but now it's just shredded rags. But there's more, seems to be more of them popping up behind people's homes, on the lawn, side yards. And the other complaint, and I'm sure you've heard it, Rachel, is about the totes. People leaving their totes out to pick up the totes on whatever. Let's say Wednesday, the totes are still sitting out on Friday and Saturday. And trash being put out. Now, I've seen 3 cases this past weekend where people put their trash out on Friday. They picked it up on Wednesday morning.
Right.
So it's still sitting there.
Yep, those are violations that we can certainly cite,
And it's
if we
just-
have the property
I
address.
don't know how we educate people. It's been an ongoing problem. It's just been, for years and years, long before any of us were here. Thank you.
Yeah, as long as we have, consistent code enforcement and they're aware of it, and people should call it in and make sure that code's aware of it so that they can follow up on it. And it might take a few days or a little while longer than they want, but it will get resolved and the code will follow up on it, like you said.
And like I said, the majority, 95%, the neighbor, the resident, or the business owner complies almost immediately with the violation.
Right,
The other 5% will take a lot longer because they'll go through the court process.
right. Anybody have any questions on it? And the other one was city center update.
Yeah, so City Center staff is working internally to close out the City Center entrance project with Empire State Development. As you'll recall, that grant was $1 million from the first DRI. We've completed the project and seeking reimbursement for those monies. We've also preparing to bid out the upgrade project that will address the interior flooring, the interior roofing, lighting, and bathrooms in City Center. So that project is almost fully designed and will be out to bid sometime this summer and fall. Several new businesses are setting up stores in City Center. We're looking forward to 2 new restaurants that will be opening, and the Axe Throwing and Escape Room has decided to come from Harvester to City Center. So they will be located in the old Gentleman Jim's property. The city retains ownership of 2 parcels in City Center, the City Hall and Theater 56 property.
So that's all we own now. We've got rid of all the properties. They've all been put back on the tax rolls with the exception of the building we're in now.
Correct.
And the Theater 56, which is, we're kind of encumbered in that for a while, aren't we?
Yes, well, yes, but City Center and Theater 56 both still have to pay mall fees as part of the mall. However, they don't pay the general taxes. And that property is encumbered for 5 years. We can't sell it, or we might risk having the grant reclaimed by the state.
And the grant you're talking about is the grant.
The
that
construction
theater
grant.
received to
Yep.
bring their business into there. So we would hurt them if we tried to sell the business too soon, is what you're saying.
If property, correct. Yep. And also, just so everyone's aware, in light of the new tenants coming in, DPW facilities crews are contemplating longer hours and the potential for an events coordinator to assist groups in booking the concourse for City Center for events, hopefully lowering the mall merchants' fees over time. If we have events, larger events in the concourse, paying for those events and those bookings, then we wouldn't need as much funding out of the mall merchant properties.
And that money is used for maintenance, cleaning, and so on of upkeep of inside the
Correct.
concourse part of the mall.
Yep. Air conditioning, mechanicals, elevator checks, everything.
Electricity.
Yep.
Yeah, Rachel, what about it?
Hallway that's been problematic in the past, just down the hall here.
So there's 3 hallways inside City Center. If we don't own them, our goal is to get easement rights on them. Is that correct, George?
Yeah.
To make sure that we would have access to those hallways. And so far, all of the owners we've talked to are amenable to that moving forward.
So they're all privately owned?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Rich, did you have a question?
Well, I kind of like, I appreciate the explaining this, the qualifications to it. I'd like to see, there's a lot of people that they're under the misconception that there's empty stores in there. And they're giving out bad information. Perhaps we could do a very simple press release explaining that everything is occupied, everything is going well, that the merchants pay to have this cleaned, it's not the city paying for it, it's a shared effort. I think that'd go a long way.
No property taxes go to the mall fund.
Yeah.
The mall fund is, like you said, fully supported by the merchants.
So maybe a quick press release letting the public know about the misinformation being spread is not true.
Yeah, the part that the malls, all those parcels are owned by the city somehow.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I read that somewhere myself, so that's why it was important we get this update to make sure that I didn't miss something. I was under the impression we had sold everything, but maybe, I don't know, I thought maybe I misheard. But you're now confirming the only 2 buildings that the city still owns are the City Hall and Theater 56, and we're owning Theater 56 to help them out for a couple more years, and then we'll explore other options, but we're way beyond that point at this point. We
Right,
have to
and
worry
as
about
you
it.
all know, we're contractually obligated per the settlement agreement to maintain the concourse
Correct.
and different easement zones throughout, parking and sidewalks included.
Yes.
So there is no wiggle room. We are there, we have to maintain it, we have to make the best of what we have, and that's why we think an events coordinator might be able to bring some revenue in by renting that space throughout the year, especially in the winter, and hopefully defer some of the cost for the mall merchants.
And like you said a few minutes ago, we're in the process of even making that space better, cleaner, more freshened up, so to speak. So all this thing is just good news on the horizon. It's just going to get better as time goes on. Anyone else have any concern about that?
Comment, these other properties, people still don't realize, they're like any other privately owned property. The city could always end up owning them on a tax foreclosure, and then they have to go through the RFP or auction process. Like you said, Mr. President, a lot of people think, wow, the city owns the whole darn thing. I don't know, how do you, that's almost historical lore now, you know?
Well, we just have to keep repeating the truth. Like, that's why I wanted this update today, because the truth is, all the properties are sold. They're all back on the tax rolls, with the exception of City Hall, which is obviously going to remain City Hall, and the Theater 56, which we involved ourselves in to help a local business relocate from Harvester Avenue, and they put all that money in, and they got the grant under the idea that we would maintain ownership of it for a period of time, and that's what we need to do. Other than that, everything's back on the tax rolls, all privately owned, and those business owners will do whatever it's legally allowed to do with those businesses, and it's their choice, it's their money to invest. So we can suggest, and people want to suggest, go right ahead, but it's their private business,
Yes.
it's their livelihood, it's their responsibility, and it's their choice to do what they want with it. So, anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yes, one further point. It's sad that people will deliberately send out false information. Just for whatever reason, they're spreading false information when we're doing so well with the mall and making progress, including the entrances, which we're getting a lot of compliments on those entrances. People really like them.
Yep.
And to Councilperson Richmond's mention of a press release, you might want to add the refurbishment of those entrances to
Yeah.
a press release,
Yeah.
or maybe put something together for the press to promote them all. New entrances, a new look, all the tenants, it's full occupation. I think that would be a great idea.
And it might drum up interest in the concourse idea that you had.
Yeah.
All right, thank you everyone for the ideas. Referral of cannabis zoning code amendment to the Planning and Development Committee.
Yes, thank you, Council President, members of council. As you are aware, the city of Batavia opted into retail and on-site consumption of cannabis products when it became legal in New York State. Municipalities are permitted to pass local laws and regulations that govern the time, place, and manner in which cannabis can be sold. I recommend that the city council forward the proposed zoning code amendment, and then the new one you have is amended by the city attorney, to the Planning and Development Committee for review. The zoning would require legal licensed cannabis retailers and on-site consumption shops to be located in the C3 Business District or the I1 Industrial District, and to submit a site plan before a special use permit was approved. The hours of operation are similar to the SLA's restrictions on liquor stores and bars. So in front of you, you have your zoning map, and you have the review George and I did today of the proposed zoning code amendment with a few strike-throughs. This item is not coming to business tonight, so this would come to the September business meeting. So if you'd like, we can go through it line by line, or if you've already perused it, you can ask me any questions you might have.
So in this case, we're just referring it for the Planning and Development Committee to take a deeper look at it and use their expertise and knowledge to kind of hash this out and give us something to seriously consider at a future meeting.
Correct, and we can't be more restrictive than what the state law and OCM provides. So some of the items, as you see, we took out about odor, properties primarily used for residents, and other small items about security plan and waste disposal plan, because that's all taken care of by the state.
Right. That's fair, because, the state has kind of confused a lot of people with their rollout on this whole thing. So I think it's probably wise that we cover our own bases just in case there's more confusion from the state. At least we'll have our own local regulations to pretty much fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
And these regulations will eliminate the possibility of a drive-through, any drive-through.
To the best of our ability. I do believe that citizens have spoken that drive-through is not something they're looking for in a cannabis shop, especially the one opening. We had Chief and I met with the owners of the new dispensary finalizing their license at the old Burger King, and they were very receptive to just having walk-up and delivery. They said they're going to look into other retailers that do drive through and try to give us some car counts so we can understand it a little better, but they do want to be great neighbors. Go ahead.
If I could, this is a general zoning code update to add this provision to the city's code. It's not specific to any particular location. It's aimed at that particular use to make sure it's regulated appropriately on a local level.
Right.
And is this going to require a public hearing?
Yes, it will. So it'll basically be after the business meeting referred to Planning and Development Committee for their review, their suggestions. They'll bring that back to City Council. We would have a public hearing and then a final vote. So it's a 4 to 6 meeting process.
Along with secret review prior to any action on the zoning
Right.
code.
So people have plenty of time to weigh in on one side or the other on any of the zoning changes we've decided to implement. Again, not referring to any one place, but a general idea to keep for the future so we can kind of have a somewhat regulation along with the state regulations, so it'll be a lot more understandable and not as confusing as it appears to be now for a lot of businesses and individuals that are looking at the businesses coming in. So that's what our goal is here, is just to kind of mirror some of the state, but also to kind of make it more unique to our area and what we feel the general public wants. So this will be a time for people to weigh in And council members will listen and we'll make our decisions accordingly based on what we hear throughout this 4 or 5 meeting process that'll take place.
Right. And it will, I'm sure it'll be implemented fairly for everyone.
That's our goal.
And to get it done fairly and to get the information out as the public needs to hear it.
Anyone else want to add anything to it? So are we in consensus to move the referral of the planning board? And we're not going to, are we going to refer it today, or that's going to be referred at
Next
a
meeting.
previous business meeting?
Just to the September business meeting.
September
Right.
business.
So, yeah, so this will move to the September business meeting for a vote, and we're just talking about the referral vote, not the vote on the change itself, just the refer to the planning board. So are we in consensus to move that to the September meeting?
Yes.
Okay, that gets moved. Creek Park land split and discontinued use.
Yes, thank you, Council President, members of council. The Creek Park site adjacent to the McCarthy Ice Rink and City Fire has been discussed since the 90s as a prime development site. And more recently, in the 2014 City of Batavia Brownfield Opportunity Area Plan, the city drafted with a goal of assisting 5 specific sites in the city seen as underused and potential brownfields. Creek Park was one of those sites identified in 2014. We've gotten to this point after many, many long years. The Batavia Development Corporation has acquired 60 Evans Street along the Ellicott Trail, and with city permission submitted 60 Ellicott Street and a portion of the city's property, 26 Evans, to the DEC for a brownfield tax credit determination to get into the program. Those parcels were accepted. As you can see in your packet, both of the parcels have been accepted in the program, and now's the time for the city to transfer a portion of 26 Evans to the BDC so they can advance the site to a private developer. We anticipate market rate housing, maybe some commercial and recreation will occur on the site.
So you're talking 60 Evans and 26 Evans?
60 elegant.
No, she said Ellicott, but it says Evans on the.
Oh, I meant Evans.
So it says Evans on the.
Oh, I said Ellicott Trail.
Oh.
60 Evans abuts Ellicott Trail.
Right, that's the one that, yeah, that's the one that the, right next to the trail. So-
Yep, so you should have pictures in your packet that shows the portion of land we would divest from. It's 1.384 acres, and it's shaded in blue in the packet.
And market rate housing would still require a zoning modification, correct?
The zoning modification is next on the agenda.
So that would also move to a future business meeting, so are we in consensus to move that to a future business meeting?
Yes.
Okay, that gets moved. Consideration rezone Creek Park.
Yes, so in furtherance of redevelopment of Creek Park, I recommend that the City Council of the City of Batavia request the Planning and Development Committee to review the potential rezone of 26, 60, and 18 and 22 Evans. They're currently zoned C2 commercial. It was recommended back in the BOA that they be rezoned to C3 commercial. I believe this will better align the properties with the city's comprehensive plan. It'll extend the C3 up past the ice rink, so you're kind of extending downtown slightly to the west. You're not allowed to have residents on the first floor in your C3, and we don't want to see apartments with residents. They can have parking garages, they could have commercial. We don't want to see an apartment building with residences on the first floor. So I think it's prudent to rezone this to a C3. This again would come to the September business meeting and then be forwarded to the PDC.
So that, as according to this, like you said, it just flows nicely with the C3 presently in place.
Yes.
So it just extends right into that area, and that actually works better for what we're trying to achieve over there, is what you were saying, for as far as apartment complexes and whatnot.
And again, this was a recommendation laid out in the BOA back in 2014 as a way to make this parcel more attractive to a developer, along with the brownfield tax credits.
Right. Any questions on that? So that will get moved to a future business meeting, and we have consensus to do that.
Yep.
Okay, that gets moved. Water infrastructure improvement, WIA grant, intent to apply.
Yes, so there's two resolutions subject to the memo I've sent in the packet. The first resolution is our intent to apply, and the second is the bond resolution, which you have in front of you, and we updated your packets. Linda sent them out earlier this morning with the bond resolution. So the city has the opportunity to apply for a WIA, Water Infrastructure Improvement Act grant, and an intermunicipal grant from the Environmental Facilities Corp. for improvements and construction upgrades that we've identified at the wastewater treatment plant. The total project cost of all improvements over 5 years is estimated at $30 million. However, the city intends to apply for several grants and a 0% loan from EFC to defer any costs that we do have to bond out after we bring the grant funds in. We'll also be watching and only doing projects that we feel are stable and that we can afford throughout time. But the improvements would include the following: replacement of the aeration equipment within the aerated ponds, replacement of the blowers feeding the aerated ponds, removal and disposal of sludge within ponds A1, A2, and A3. Those are your primary ponds that are aerated. Installation of an effluent lift station to feed the filtration system, installation of a final filtration system and building, installation of chemical storage, chemical pumps for dosing for both chemicals and bioaccumulation bacteria, and installation of a new emergency generator.
How old is that plant now?
1990s. So around 30 years, 90,
35.
1990? Yeah? Is that the right year? 89, 90. Bailey says 89.
So 35 years at least.
Yeah.
So
It's
about
time
to-
for upgrades. As you saw, I put a picture in here of when we replaced the air header. That had been done about 3.5, 4 years ago. Again, the systems have improved, aeration systems have improved, and I think all these improvements will help us meet whatever permit we do end up with through the DEC and our permit updates.
Rachel, the installation of a final filtration system, there is no final filtration system in existence now, is that correct?
That is correct, right, Bailey?
Yeah, it's just the wetlands that do the final polishing.
Right.
And this is, we're looking forward to possible more stringent requirements for our discharge permit, is that
We're
correct?
not looking forward to it, but we are looking at it.
We're looking forward in case we need to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Think of it-
Proactive.
Efficiencies.
Correct.
Improvements in efficiencies and operation of the plant, notwithstanding the permit standards. We're always gonna have to meet permit standards as they may change, but trying to be as engineeringly sound as we can be relative to the systems and the mechanisms in place with the plant, given that it's a natural system plant to refine some of the elements.
Now, is that final filtration system, is that going to be considered tertiary treatment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be, right? Yeah, so after it comes out of the final, only 20% goes through the wetlands, through that polishing, so this would definitely help with the other 80% that comes through.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So we in consensus to move that to a future business meeting? That gets moved. Water infrastructure WIA grant bond resolution?
Thank you. The water meter bids, just to, oh, did I do the bond I'm sorry.
So the bond is, if you want to include that part of the WIA part?
Yes.
You kind of touched on it, you didn't really.
Yep, so the bond resolution, it'll be dated September 12th. I'd like it voted on then, so we can, the application is due the 15th to WIA. You have to have a bond resolution and be ready to do a project to be able to apply to WIA. The bond resolution talks about, obviously, the sewer system capital improvements at the wastewater treatment plant at an estimated maximum cost of $30 million. Our goal is to break that in half or more, and don't forget, the town of Batavia has to come in with 25% of all capital costs at the wastewater treatment plant as part of their agreement. So, again, we want to reduce that amount as much as possible through grants and then phasing of the project.
So that's pretty much, we're going to use a cautious approach to not just finance it all at once.
Right.
Correct.
So are we in consensus then to move that resolution to a future business meeting for a vote? Okay, that gets moved. Now the water meter replacement.
Yes,
contract.
sorry about that.
And this will go to tonight's meeting for a vote, so go ahead, Rachel, with explaining that.
City Council authorized the city to replace water meters at customer homes, authorizing $2.5 million project in a resolution number 141 in 2024. Authorization to borrow in resolution 2125 and the capital projects for this year 25-26. The city will acquire and install approximately 3,700 radio read water meters for efficient and accurate computation of water usage by city inhabitants at an estimated aggregated cost for both acquisition and installation of $2.5 million. TI Sales was the lowest responsible bidder to the city's request for bids at a total cost of $1.7 million. The city water department, or SPIC crews, will be responsible for installation of the meters, and the project will come in under our anticipated budget. And Bailey, did you have anything to add?
Did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that.
So any questions on the water meters? And the crew is definitely capable of doing that, so we can save a lot of money by doing it ourselves, right?
Yes, and we did add last November, if you'll recall, another SMIC water person to the budget. We did an analysis to say that it would be cheaper over time to have another person on the ground doing this and then possibly rolling into lead line service replacement if needed.
So those are pending projects that are going to take quite some time for us to
Correct.
complete.
And our labor is cheaper than having it contracted out at this time.
Right, plus we have control over that labor, and it's also, would come in handy maybe in the winter months when we have other things going on and we're not doing water and line replacement.
Yep,
We can have that person for other duties as well.
yep, for water breaks and plowing.
Right, for sure. Any questions on that? That does get moved to tonight's business, so our main consensus to move that. Okay, that gets moved. Capital project closeout, BOM, fire facility projects.
Yes, thank you, Council President. It's a housekeeping resolution. The City of Batavia Finance Department has determined 2 capital projects can be closed out. The projects are the Fire Department Building Improvement Project and the Bureau of Maintenance Building Improvement Project. The majority of the funding for these projects came from the city's facility reserves and from ARPA funds. So these were one-time costs that council agreed using ARPA funds for would make sense.
Any questions or concerns on that? Okay, so are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business meeting? That gets moved. The Cohocton water line contract.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I have recently signed an emergency purchase order for Keeler Construction to assist the City of Batavia in finishing the Cohocton and Walnut Waterline project. This resolution is to formalize the use of Keeler on the project and approve the $1.7 million budget to finish the project. We're still hopeful that we can remain under the $4.1 million original project budget, even with the change in contractors during the project.
Any questions or concerns on that? Okay, so are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business meeting for a vote?
Yep.
It gets moved. The local official for the Equal Business Opportunity System.
Yes, the New York State DOT requires all municipalities participating in the state and federally funded transportation projects to designate a responsible local official who is responsible for accessing, administering, and ensuring project compliance with the Equitable Business Opportunity System. I recommend that we nominate the Director of Public Works, Tom Phelps, because he's not here to do this job.
Well, you have talked to him, I think.
Yeah, he submitted it because he needs to get into the system. The last time we had system access was when Matt Worth was here, so we do need to have him certified and get into the
So
system.
you can, yeah, so you can access.
Yep.
Any questions or concerns on that? Okay, so are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business meeting for a vote? I think it's moved. Change order and budget amendment for Squad 16.
Yes, I'm going to pass this directly to the fire chief to talk about the Squad 16 budget and closing out the, I'll call it a project, but the purchase of Squad 16.
Thank
Thank you, Council President, council members. Fiscal year 24-25, council approved the use of fire department reserves for the purchase of squad 16 replacement to the tune of $150,000. That included the service body, the chassis, the upfitting, and a plow. By the end of fiscal year 24-25, we've only spent $137,865. The project was not completed. Since then, it has been completed, and the total for all of that has come to $151,797.92. So I'm requesting an amendment and the approval for the $13,932.92 to amend the 25-26 budget for fire department reserve spending.
And the vehicle, you have the vehicle now?
We do have the vehicle.
How does it look?
That looks fantastic.
So it's worth it.
Yeah, the additional $1,797 over the $150 was when we went down there to look at the vehicle, we realized the service body was so big that it blocked out the light bar for a standard passenger vehicle. So we added some lights to the back of the vehicle so that we could be more visible.
Great.
And your new vehicle, number 210, the used vehicle we purchased, looks like it's in great shape. It looks very nice.
It is, yes.
So we're doing good on the fleet so far, with the exception of the ladder truck, which is another whole story altogether.
Correct.
Okay, good. Anybody else have any other questions? So are we in consensus to move the change order to tonight's business meeting for a vote? I think it's moved. DRI 2.0.
Yes, thank you, Council President, members of council. As you are aware, the city was successful in the DRI 1.0, fostering over $60 million in private investment in the downtown. The program is still available, and the city could be in line to bring in another $10 million to the downtown, but focusing more specifically on the Route 63 corridor between the ice rink, Brisbane, and down to Harvester. As you see, we have maps in here, and we've identified 12 potential projects. You have to have potential projects to submit. These by no means would be the final projects. If we were awarded it, it then moves to a committee where committee members try to shape these projects and bring them to fruition. So some of the projects we've identified included the Brisbane Mansion, Creek Park, the ice rink, the Route 63 corridor, School Street walking trail, Swan Street property upgrades, and an outdoor farmers market shelter that would be a multi-use for events and a market as well as other things. So we'd like permission to apply. The BDC, working with Labella, has formed a committee, and they've had multiple meetings on this. It was actually the BOA committee that just kind of stayed over to work on this, and the meetings have been very productive. The grant's due in September.
And I sit on that committee as well as the city manager does. I was on the BOA committee that changed into the DRI committee. I was also on the first DRI committee. So I like the idea that this is focusing more on Ellicott Street and the south side, because, you know, Main Street looks really nice. Ellicott Street's kind of needs that little upgrade there. So as being from the south side, I think it's important that we maintain, that's our second main route. And there's a lot of businesses along Ellicott Street that would benefit from this. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we can, you know, make the application and get a good shot at getting some additional money for the Ellicott Street corridor, like the city manager mentioned.
And I will note, typically when you put in the application the first time, you might not be awarded, so you may see this come through again next year if we're not successful. I'd love to say we'll be the first city in New York to get the second DRI allocation, and that is certainly my goal. But if we're not successful, we probably would apply again to the program.
Yeah, it's definitely Ellicott Street needs some help, and this would be a good boost for the Ellicott Street corridor to get this additional money and improve some of the businesses along that corridor, as well as possibly the ice rink and the Brisbane Mansion, which are two important buildings in our community that a lot of people have interest in. So I think that's important to at least give it a chance. So anybody else have any other questions on that? Okay, so that intent to apply would go to tonight's business meeting. Are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business? Do you think it's moved? Employee stipend, Paul, you requested this put on.
Yeah, thank you, Council President. I feel that it's necessary to give a stipend to the city manager and her staff that are helping her with the absence of Eric, the assistant manager. And I don't care what past managers have done or haven't done. We have a great manager, she does a great job, and she needs to feel appreciated.
Well, also to add on to that, there are requirements in the charter that we do have an assistant city manager. It's specifically in there. So we're required to do that. So there are duties that are normally assigned to that person. So there's only so many hours in the day, and that's another full-time job that we're trying to split between two people, kind of. So that money is important. It's definitely not using the remaining money in the budget, but we're only talking about $1,000 for the city manager per month, and I think $700 for an employee for the month. So I think it's money well spent, because there'll be additional duties, and there's only so many hours in the day, so we know it's gonna take a toll on their family life and their free time, because they're gonna have to somehow make time to get these things done. So I think it's only fair and reasonable that we provide ample compensation, considering the fact that these two employees aren't allowed to get overtime, like an average employee would just put in for the extra hours and get the overtime. That's not allowed, and they're also, strapped because of the time constraint. So because of that, I think it's important that we do recognize that and provide a reasonable additional salary to cover all those extra hours that are going to have to be worked. So that's where I think it's important that we do that. To not do it and then just lay more work on somebody is, I don't think, very proper management. I just don't think that's a wise way to go.
And this stipend will be terminated on December 1st when the new assistant city manager takes his new position.
That's correct.
So we're talking August, September, October, November.
In July.
In July, oh, yeah, right, July, because he left on July 4th. So it would be retroactive. So I think it's a wise idea. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's something we should do. Anybody else have any other comments on it? So are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business meeting for a vote?
Yes.
That gets moved. Residency waiver.
Yes, so I would like to congratulate Chief Highbush on his appointment on December 1st to Assistant City Manager. Congratulations. As I said, he will assume his new role on December 1st, 2025. He'll continue to live in Pavilion with his family and will need a residency waiver to assume the position per the charter. Because the charter states that the Assistant City Manager shall live in the city of Batavia.
Right, unless we give a waiver.
Unless he gets a waiver.
Questions or concerns on that?
No?
I mean, the last assistant manager, we allowed a waiver. He lived in a neighboring town. So, and Sean's been a valued employee, and congratulations, Sean, on your new appointment. I think it's wise that we let him continue on with this building. We've had such a long time to make this get to this point. I think changing leadership under this, the police department in the building at a rough time like this, I think would be a bad idea. So I think it's wise that we let him finish out the major job that he undertook several months ago. And also, I think it's wise that we give him the waiver so that he can continue on in his service to the community and be the assistant manager starting in December. Anyone disagree or agree with that? Or?
For
Okay, so are we in consensus to move the residency waiver to tonight's business meeting for a vote? I think it's moved. EFC grant acceptance.
Yes, thank you, Council President, members of council. The last item on your conference agenda tonight is the acceptance of $50,000 for an engineering planning grant from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. The grant is to develop a technical engineering report to study and address I&I in the city's sanitary sewer. So I&I is when you have inflow of storm sewer into your sanitary, and of course that would then increase the level of water or discharge we have in the ponds. So anywhere we can reduce any I&I throughout the city is a very good thing. It also will look at where people might have sump pumps hooked up, where they should be going into a sanitary system, not a sewer system. So I think this is a great grant. It's something we promised the DEC we'd do a few years ago, is to get this study going. And I think it'll certainly help with reduction of flow over time into our ponds.
All right. Any questions or concerns? I mean, I just remind everyone that it wasn't too long ago we had, a problem with our ponds, and so it's definitely something we want to keep a very close eye on going forward. And grants like this and studies like this help us keep on the right track. So I think it's important to do that because we're kind of surprised and overwhelmed at one point. Now we're back caught up. So I think I'd like to maintain a eyes open process going forward, make sure we're on the right track with our water and our sewer infrastructure.
And every gallon that goes into that wastewater treatment plant costs us money.
Sure.
Yeah, because we have to treat
And
it.
it's a gallon
process it.
less a resident or business could then utilize for future expansion.
So any savings we can get is always going to add up in the long run on the other end of it. So thank you. So are we in consensus to move that to tonight's business meeting as well?
Yes.
Okay, that gets moved. Motion to adjourn, Mr. Veely. Seconded by Mr. Richmond. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Veely?
Yes.
Twitchell?
Yes.
Guy?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Richmond?
Yes.
Bayakowski?
Yes.
Jankowski?
Yes. I now call to order the regular business meeting. You've all been given a copy of the June and July minutes. If anybody has any questions or concerns or omissions or additions they'd like to add or subtract from there, that something's erroneous in there, now's the time. Any concerns? So are we in consensus then to accept the June and July minutes?
Yep.
Okay, those are accepted. We have numerous agenda items. I'll get those assigned out now. Resolution 106, 2025, the Keeler construction for the 2021 infrastructure, Cohocton Water. Mr. Veely. Number 107, 2025, the closeout capital project, Mr. Richmond. Number 108, 2025, the reserve funds for replacement of Squad 16, Mr. McGinnis. 109, 2025, the New York State Downtown Revitalization Grant, DRI submission, Mr. Twitchell. Number 110, 2025, the waive residency requirement, Mr. Richmond. Number 111, 2025, the additional stipend for the city manager and grant administrator, Mr. Veely. Number 112, 2025, the local official RLO for the city of Batavia, that's Tom, who's not here. Mr. McGinnis. 113, 2025, the EFC grant, that was the last item we just talked about, Mr. Twitchell. And 114, 2025, the water meter bid to Thai Sales, Mr. Veely. City Attorney, do you have anything to report?
Yes, Council President, we've been busy since we last spoke, been involved in various contract matters, providing support for various departments regarding ongoing questions that may arise in the municipal services. We are working on various environmental and development projects as well, and we've commenced the in-run tax foreclosure proceeding in the last few weeks. So rather busy across the spectrum, and 2 matters to discuss in executive session.
Any questions? Okay, City Manager?
First, I'd just like to start with, I sent an email out about members willing to serve on the police chief interviews. I did have 5 responses. So I just wanted to know, we probably shouldn't have more than 3. It is this Friday at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. we're starting. I know Tammy can't be there. She did volunteer, so now we're down to 4 council members that were interested.
I'd be willing to give up my seat, because I was involved with the assistance.
Okay. So maybe David, Tammy could be the next time we have interviews. We bring them in. Okay.
Yeah, so we're down to the
members-
3, so you, I mean, I was just gonna say, you know, we're there as more observers, and you ultimately make the final decision. We're there for, you know, interviewing and advice. So it's the 3, you know, pick any 3. I think anyone's more than capable of doing it, as we saw recently. I'm glad we have so many volunteers. That means they want to get involved, so
Yeah.
that's important. So however you choose, I'm fine with that.
I'll do the first 3 that got back to me. Councilmember Bayakowski, Richmond, and Jankowski. On deck is Mr. Twitchell and Tammy Schmidt. How about that?
Yeah, good. And if you find that someone doesn't want it, then we'll grab somebody else.
Give me that date again, make sure I have it.
The 15th
10 o'clock.
at 10 a.m. Yep, we did send a calendar invite. I don't know if you do the calendar thing.
So that's basically, that's the end of this week, next Friday.
Oh yeah, and Rich, I sent it to your city email.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So that occurs in 4 days from now.
Correct.
Friday this week. That's the start.
10 o'clock.
Anything else, Rachel, you'd like to add?
Just one other thing I've been working with Mr. Harrower for the last 6 or 7 months to help him move forward with his project on North Point Drive, bringing 30 new single-family homes to be able to effectuate the building of those homes. Not only does he need to extend the road, the sewer and the water, but we do have to have a pump station upgrade on Narramore. The pump runs almost 24/7. It's at capacity. So we did work with the county and received $1 million grant for Mr. Harrower to move forward with the project, and that'll support the pump station for the city of Batavia. So a lot of work going into setting that up properly. We will have a project performance agreement coming to city council in the future so we can get that pump station designed and built and ready for the first few houses that come online on
So
that
we're
project.
basically doing the infrastructure connection. I mean, we're technically not giving him the grant money. We are going to use the grant money to,
He's gonna pay us.
so he's going to pay us.
We have to bid the project out as a public works project for the pump station. We'll have an escrow account with him for the rough estimate of the amount, which is $700,000. And once he gets his reimbursement, he will reimburse the city.
So our cost is going to be reimbursed.
Yeah.
To extend the infrastructure out, to be able to address those new homes that'll be going in the area.
Correct. The only thing we'll lose is probably some interest on that money that could have been invested while we're laying out the capital to build the pump station.
But I think it's a good project, and I think it's a fair trade for what the city is going to gain out of it, 30 new homes in a nice area that, it's been a while since we put that many homes in anything in a long time, so.
And there's room for another 60 homes behind his project and over at the end of North Street someday that would then tie into that pump station as well.
Great.
Is the existing forest main going to have the capacity to take that extra?
Yep, so it goes to an 8-inch line and then right out to the 30-inch line on Main Street and directly to the central pump station. 30-inch on Main, right? 24 or 30? Okay, thanks. I think
It's
it's
a
30.
larger-
I was looking at the drawings the other day.
It's a much larger line where a lot of other lines feed into, is what you're saying.
Correct, yes.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So that's good. That's good news that these projects moving forward and that we're also going to be able to upgrade the infrastructure that'll address future advancement in that area as well. So that's good. Any other questions on that for the city manager? Anything else, Rachel, or are you completely done?
That is everything,
All right,
thank
great.
you.
All right, new business, 106, 2025. Mr. Beely, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to enter into agreement with Keeler Construction for construction services for the 2021 infrastructure improvement project, Cohocton Water.
Seconded by Mr. McGinnis. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis, Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski.
Yes. Resolution 107, 2025. Mr. Richmond, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to close out capital projects.
Seconded by Mr. Guy. Any questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Resolution 108, 2025. Mr. McGinnis, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move a resolution to reappoint reserve funds for the replacement of Squad 16 and amend the 2025-26 budget.
Seconded by Mr. Twitchell. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy.
Yes.
Resolution 109, 2025. Mr. Twitchell, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to support the submission of a 2025 New York State Downtown Revitalization Initiative Grant and a New York Forward Grant Program.
Seconded by Mr. McGinnis. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely.
Yes.
Resolution 110, 2025. Mr. Richmond.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to waive residency requirement.
Seconded by Mr. Guy. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Resolution 111, 2025. Mr. Veely, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to authorize additional compensation for the city manager and grant administrator.
Seconded by Mr. Twitchell. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski.
Yes. Resolution 112, 2025. Mr. McGinnis, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move a resolution appointing Tom Phelps as a responsible local official for the city of Batavia for the New York State Department of Transportation Equality Business Opportunity System.
Seconded by Mr. Veely. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy.
Yes.
Resolution 113, 2025. Mr. Twitchell, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution to accept an engineering planning grant from the New York State Environmental Planning Grant Award from the Environmental Facilities Corporation and designate signatories on the grant.
Seconded by Mr. Richmond. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski,
Yes.
Veely.
Yes.
And Resolution 114, 2025. Mr. Veely, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move a resolution authorizing the award of a water meter bid to TI Sales.
Seconded by Mr. Guy. Questions or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Veely,
Yes.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Jankowski.
Yes. And Mr. Veely for executive session.
Thank you, Council President. Whereas Article 7, Section 105, 1H of the Public Council's Law permits the legislative body of municipality to enter into executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or proposed acquisition of securities or sale, exchange of securities held
Is
by...
that the right one?
Litigation?
Am I the wrong one?
Sorry.
Litigation,
Sorry.
not real estate. Where is it? There it is, right here. Is it real estate and litigation, or just litigation?
Should just be litigation.
Why don't you grab that? There you go.
I was gonna.
Thank
All
you.
right, go for it.
I
Let's start-
apologize for that.
Let's start over. So this is for litigation. Mr. Veely will make the motion. Go for it.
Thank you, Council President. Whereas Article 7, Section 105, 1D of the Public Notices Law permits the legislative body of municipality to enter into executive session to discuss proposed pending or current litigation. Now therefore be resolved by the Council of the City of Batavia that upon approval of this motion, the City Council does hereby enter into executive session.
Seconded by Mr. Richmond. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Veely?
Yes.
Twitchell?
Yes.
Guy? McGinnis?
Yes.
Richmond?
Yes.
Jankowski?
Yes.